Look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder. With this beautiful thought, good morning to all my dear students. I hope you all are in good health. I, Shreya Jadhav, welcome you all to my e-learning channel. And today we are going to learn English Standard 9 Supplementary Reading 1 Moments. The first supplementary unit, The Lost Child, written by Mulkraj Anand. So, a child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers to him? So over here, this is the summary of the chapter, we can say. So let us start the reading of it. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes, and Alice emerged in gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's leg, brimming over with life and laughter. So over here it was a festival of spring, and all the people have gathered and they are really very happy. Some of them were walking, some of them were riding on the horses. On the other hand, some of the people were sitting down and some were traveling in the bullock cart and bamboo carts. And over here there was a little boy, and he was full of life and laughter, and he was running between the legs of his father. "Come, child, come," called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinating by the toys in the shops that lined the way. He hurried towards his parents, feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old, cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So over here, the parents are calling the child that please come over here, because the parents were waiting for the child, and the child was constantly and continuously looking. He was really very fascinated, attracted towards the toy shop. And then he quickly hurried, changing his direction of attention, because he was really very obedient. Whatsoever the parents told, he used to follow it. So he directly went where his parents were waiting for him, but still he was continuously looking behind as if he wanted the toys from the shop. He knew that he could not suppress the desire from his heart, but he also knew that his parents would not allow him to buy those toys. "I want that toy," he pleaded. His father looked at him red-eyed, means he looked very angrily, in his familiar tyrant way. His mother, melted by his free spirit of the day, and was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you." It was flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across the miles and of even land. So what happened over here? His father gave a really very angry look, but the mother just tried to drag the attention of the child, and the mother told that, "See, look, child, look over here. This yellow mustard flowering seed looks so beautiful, and it seems like a melting gold." A group of dragonflies were bustling out on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. When he had almost caught it in his hands, then his mother gave him a cautionary call. Come, child, come on the footpath. Now, as they were passing through this flowering mustard field, yes, it looked like a melting gold. Now, as they were passing by through the field, they saw that there were group of dragonflies who were bustling around, and they were having a gaudy purple wings. So now this child was behind those black bee and the butterfly. He wanted to catch those, and as they were fluttering, he ran behind the butterflies and the bees. And at that time duration, his mother again calls the child that come, child, come on the footpath, we are waiting for you. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being however soon left behind, attracted by little insects and worms. Along the footpath, there were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So, when his parents were calling the child, he was really very happy and he walked very fast, but still he was left behind them. Why? Because now he was attracted towards those little insects and worms who were lying down, or they were at the edge of the footpath. So the child was now attracted towards those new creatures. Come, child, come, his parents called from the shade of grove, where they had seated themselves on the edge of a wall. He ran towards them. So now the parents were sitting on one of the grove, and they were sitting on the edge of the well. And at that time duration, the parents called him and he moved towards the parents. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. So now what happened when he went near the well where the parents were sitting, and he saw that there were plenty of raining petals. So he started collecting those. But after a certain time duration, he saw that there was a dove. So he was really very excited to see the bird, the dove. So he started shouting to his parents that, listen, see, here there is a dove. And when he was shouting, screaming with excitement, at that time duration, he forgot. And the petals, the raining petals which were there in his hand, he dropped it and he forgot that he was holding the petals. Over here we can come to know that the child was really very happy, excited and enjoying the the spring fair where the parents have taken him. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in the wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow, winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. Now again the parents are calling the child, and now they are running around the banyan tree, and they have gathered up in some narrow place, and now they are supposed to move to the fair. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths, full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the air, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. So now when he got near to the village, he could see so many people, because in fair we have so many and plenty of people, and everyone were moving around in the fair, and now he was really much fascinated by looking at so many people. Yes, and he thought that now he is entering into a different world. A sweet meat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, burfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and the crowd pressed round his counter. At the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold, the child stared open eyed, and his mouth watered for the burfi. That was his favorite sweet. I want that burfi, he slowly murmured. But he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So, now he has entered into the fair. This is the first place where he is stopping, and that was at the sweet meat seller hawker. And over there were so many different items of sweets like gulab jamun, rasgulla, burfi, and jalebi. And so number of people were standing over there, and they were waiting for their turn to come. The sweets were of many colors, and they were decorated with silver and gold. And moreover to that, the child was also opened eye, and now he was having that craving of eating that burfi. Why specifically burfi? Because burfi was the favorite sweet, and the child very slowly he murmured and he said that I want that burfi. He said that he was willing to have one burfi, but he almost knew that his request, his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say that he was really very greedy. So without waiting for the answer, that he knew that his parents are going to refuse only, he moved on. A flower hawked, a flower seller hawked, a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland, but he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for answer, he moved on. Now the second shop where he is waiting is that of a flower seller hawker, and over there the hawker was selling that a garland of gulmohar, and now the child was very much fascinated towards those colors of gulmohar. So he went near the basket and he saw that how beautiful the flowers were, and he murmured out that he wanted a garland, but he also knew that his parents are going to refuse him, and they would tell him, they would give him an excuse that as the flowers are really very cheap, we should not purchase it. So he didn't waited for any sort of answer and he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried, attracted away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he knew well his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. So what happened? There was, now this is the third incident which that little child is sharing, that a man was standing with a pole and there were different colors of balloons that were flying. So now the child was simply attracted towards those rainbow glory and the silken colors, and now he was overwhelming that desire